Hi guys, welcome to Andrew of TV, and today for this tutorial, this is part 2 of the how to set up the LCD display for your Raspberry Pi. So to start things off from where we left off of our previous video, let's go to a website called circuitbasics.com. You're going to copy and paste each of these following commands and codes into your terminal, such as PuTTY. Since PuTTY makes it so much easier for copying and pasting, you can easily highlight where it says sudo nano and paste that into the terminal. Now with PuTTY, it's not just a simple, Control-V or to right-click copy-paste. It's more like you just hit the right-click button on your mouse, and it just easily does the rest for you. Simply hit the enter button on your keyboard and you will eventually come across a screen very similar to mine. Now you want to scroll on down using the arrow keys and to go to where it says option, where it says fbdev in quotation marks, and change that where it says fb0 to fb1. As you're doing this, you will eventually find out that the num keys do not work, and that you would have to use the ones above QWERTY, such as the ones with the exclamation mark, the @ symbol, and the pound symbol. You want to use those numbers instead. Now in order to save your changes, you want to hit Ctrl and X on your keyboard and press Y followed by the enter button. You then want to go back to that website and scroll all the way down to where it says, under step 3, sudo repo, all in caps, repo _URI. Now you want to copy that and do exactly the same thing as we did before under step 1, where we would copy that and go into the PuTTY and of course hit the right click button on the mouse and hit enter. Now the only part you do not need of this code is the period that's after update, since that's not part of this code that you need. At the moment of right now, you will see that your Pi is now updating. Now while that it's updating, you will eventually find out that after you do a reboot that the screen does not work. Now in this case, we're going to be logging back into PuTTY after you have rebooted your Pi. Now an update is always necessary, and that we have to do a reboot afterwards in order to refreshen those configurations. Once you guys have completed the necessary updates and firmware changes, you now want to do a reboot. You simply want to do a login as root first. Simply do that by doing sudo --i, then follow that with the sudo space reboot. Now PuTTY will now say, oh, a connection has been fatally disconnected, when really, you've just decided to do a reboot. Now this is completely necessary because you want those new updates to take effect. While your Pi is currently in the process of rebooting, PuTTY will now say inactive for the very reason that your Pi is now disconnected. You want to close PuTTY and to reopen it and to re-log in using the 192.168.2.11, which should be the default address for your Raspberry Pi. If it's not, you can always find it any other way. Now you will notice that the newly changes have no effect on your LCD screen display. This is for the very reason that there is more changes that need to be done in order to make it work. The next step that we have to do that's on the website is step number 4. What we'll be needing to do is to enter sudo nano and of course the /etc/modules. Now you want to do the same thing that we've been doing before, the whole copying pasting thing, and that we're gonna have to edit some files. Now in this case, since we are modifying some contents of the Raspberry Pi, it is best to say we better log in as root, as a root user. This way we can safely make those changes as we need. So instead of us actually just modifying what we already have, we're actually going to be adding something, and that would be after the AND-BCM2835. According to the website, you will see that code. I will also copy and paste a lot of this code and all this stuff that you need under my description down below, so you don't have to keep going back and forth. And please remember how to save the changes. Again, it is Ctrl-X and again Y and enter in order to save the following changes. You're going to be needing to know this for every single time you're going to edit a document under root. Now this next part, you will be indeed modifying a text document completely, and that actually involves deleting everything that we have in that document. That happens to be the command line.txt, cmdline.txt. This folder or file can actually be found under the root under the boot folder. Now once you guys have completed that, we'll be doing something very similar but to another document file. This happens to be the etc/rc.local, where we'll be adding a certain code above where it says exit 0. And again, we're going to be saving the following changes. Now just be sure to use your arrow keys and not your mouse in order to edit each document file. Now you would have to use the right arrow key or the down arrow key in order to get to the very end of where you need to be. Now the final line code that you have just pasted under exit 0 should be the last and final code that you will be needing in order to make your LCD display actually work. However, when you turn on your Pi after doing a reboot, you will notice that the rotation setting may not be how you want it. So, in this regards, we're gonna have to make another few changes in order to make you guys happy. If you guys happen to be unhappy, you guys will have to edit a file and command that we have just edited before. It would happen to be the cmd.line, such as the command line.text. Now in that same text document that you will be editing, there's going to be some equal signs. You're going to want the ones after where it says enable equals 0. You do not want to modify that one, but you definitely do want to modify the ones after that. You can easily change the 0 to a 90 for 90 degrees. Then of course save the changes, again doing the whole Ctrl-X thing, and saving it and exiting, and of course rebooting your Pi. So for me to make this video come to conclusion and an end, hope you guys are happy with the rotation settings of your Raspberry Pi. If you guys are so, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at AndrewGoldenTV and maybe give this video a like. So, hope you guys like it, and ciao!